First time since being traded. On the other side, Cam Newton had his worst game as a Patriot in Sunday's loss to the Broncos. Bucky Brooks is back with us to take his lashes. But Marcellus, which team should feel better about their starting quarterback? The 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo or the Patriots with Super Cam?
Oh, I'm going with the 49ers and Jimmy GQ. Good-looking dude. Comparison is the thief of joy, so I am not taking a shot at Cam Newton. This is a very difficult question, but I'm going to ride with the guy who has a 25-8 win-loss record, 758 win percentage, only sixth best in NFL history. I'm going to go with the guy who, in his first full year as a starter, went to the Super Bowl, had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter with the #2 defense in the NFL, and found himself on the short end of the stick. I'm going to go with the guy that right now everyone wants to pile on and kick him while he's down just because he's injured. But let's talk about Jimmy GQ with the injury. We saw him in the Miami game and get yanked. We were like, yuck. So let's just look at that one and say, hey, we got to give him a pass. Why? Because he has a high ankle sprain on his plant foot. And outside of your throwing arm or shoulder, that's the worst injury you can have as a quarterback. So let's just move that one to the side just because it wasn't really Jimmy G out there. What has he done in his other 3 starts when he was healthy? 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, 68% completion percentage, 120 passer rating. You know he's cooking. Only other guy who has those type of numbers is the MVP front runner and Russell Wilson. So I'm riding with Jimmy G because of his disposition, of his demeanor, of the fact that he's a winner, unfazed with all of the criticism, the hate that comes every single day at a guy who's not only achieved, but exceeded the expectations that were given him.
Marcellus, you were a great man, so I would assume you're a great father, but you do some things that make me question if I would want to be one of your children. Here is why. You make excuses for some of your kids, Jimmy G. Oh, he's hurt, he's hurt, he's hurt. But you don't make excuses for your other kids. There's a bunch of other quarterbacks who you're like, well, he got hurt, so he's injury prone. Jimmy G has missed 15 of the last 38 games as I see it. So I'm just wondering, Marcellus, why you make excuses for some of your kids but not others, but I digress. Cam Newton is who the Patriots should feel better about. The Patriots should feel better about their quarterback situation because Cam Newton does more with less. Why do I say that? Cam Newton, does he really have a lot of viable weapons out there? We know he doesn't. We know he has Julian Edelman. He has an underachieving first-round pick from last year. He has a couple running backs, but none of them are true RBs. They're more so pass-catching running backs. But my biggest point is Cam Newton actually has a bunch of true yards that aren't inflated. Y'all know when y'all go to the store and y'all get a bag of chips, and then y'all look at that bag of chips, but half of the bag is air? I can't stand it, bro. That's Jimmy Garoppolo's stats, because I look at his bag of stats, but half of his bag is air. Wow. So let's look at the true yardage. Jimmy G and Cam Newton. I'm going to talk about the passing yards and the rushing yards, sans yak, yards after catch. This is what Jimmy G does without his receivers helping him out. This is what Cam Newton does. 522 to 298, ew. Rushing yards, 225 to 17, ew, but expected. So total yards, true yardage, when you take the air out of the bag and you're just trying to get to that sour cream and onion chip. Cam Newton, 747 total yards, Marcel, it's true yards.
True yards?
And Jimmy G, 315. It's not a conversation, but Bucky, maybe you can make it one.
True yards, Bucky.
No, Acho, like this is a rare instance where great minds are thinking alike. And so I welcome you to this side. I appreciate you embracing greatness by coming over here because you're right. I feel better about Cam Newton than Jimmy Garoppolo. You eloquently stated the point against Jimmy Garoppolo, those empty calories that you find in potato chips, because that is exactly what's happening. I think the best way to describe Jimmy Garoppolo is as a former video gamer, he is a joystick. And Kyle Shanahan is playing the game through him. Basically, what Kyle Shanahan is doing is he has created a system, and he is running the game through the quarterback. The quarterback can't do anything on his own accord. So the last game against the LA Rams, when he threw for 268 yards, 226 of those yards were yak yards. It's all about the yak bros being able to get it done on the perimeter. And so the frustration from Kyle Shanahan when you see him on the sideline with Jimmy Garoppolo as he inevitably misses 3 or 4 home run shots that Kyle Shanahan has dialed up is because he knows that his quarterback is just a B+ player, and he has to do everything right to get him there. And without it being perfectly scripted and crafted for his quarterback can't get it done. So despite the numbers, we know that we should feel better about Cam Newton because Cam Newton is more talented and really a better overall player.
Oh, wow. 6 in NFL history and win percentage, but that's a B+ player, or B-, whatever you want to go.
I was generous. It's right.
Oh, wow. You take a team to the Super Bowl in your first year as a starter. Oh, that's a B. What are we talking about here? Y'all keep giving me examples that don't even make sense. Let me give you the chips example from a real chip eater, homie. Cheeto champion up here. You know what? Let's go to our favorite sport, track and field.
Let's talk about it.
Now, I love Acho because he works from a premise of equality. I don't. I know things are not equal. 2 siblings are not equal. Acho, Bucky and I are not equal. I'm taller. I'm fatter. I'm better looking. There's a lot of things going on right here. Here's the thing. If you watch the sprint relay, ooh, that 4x100, everyone that is lazy is going to assume they all run 100 meters. But if you know about it, and if you know you got a stud, you got a star, you got a Usain Bolt, oh, he going to run about 110, 120. You know what we going to do? we going to rig this passing zone. we going to rig our mark so he can get more. You have to understand that Jimmy Garoppolo on your team means that we're going to give him a little bit more. People only talk about Jimmy G in the short and intermediate passing game. Oh, guess who led last year, 2019, in terms of passes 20-plus yards or longer in completion percentage? Jimmy Garoppolo. Since 2019, since y'all want to talk about it, and that's his only 1 year as a starter, only 7 quarterbacks are averaging at least 8 yards a pass attempt, 35 or more touchdowns, and a completion percentage over 65. Guess who is one of those quarterbacks, along with Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson? Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know what he did to y'all. Maybe because he's so good looking that people just want to hate on him.
I feel like
I don't know what it is about his game. Maybe because he played behind Tom Brady. Some thought he was going to run Tom Brady out of town. That he just came and entered the league, or at least entered San Fran. What an inferno of hate. But if you dive into the numbers, Bucky, I expect more out of you. Jimmy Garoppolo is a beast.
Bucky, honestly, go ahead. Retort, Bucky, because he called you
a beast. You know, like Marcellus, I appreciate you bringing it to track and field because as an ACNC championship sprinter, I ran anchor leg on the 4x1 relay, and I took the baton from Alan Johnson, a gold medalist. So I understand when you have to take the stagger zone and cut it shorter to determine who you want to run longer. So when we think about Jimmy Garoppolo, you talk about him running a farther distance. No, I would contend that it's shorter, that he's getting the baton at the very end of the zone because they don't want him to have to run the entire 100. So what Kyle Shanahan does is he basically gifts Jimmy Garoppolo these easy completions so he can run up these stats. And because we're talking about it in relay terms, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, he has some of the best relay artists with him. So yes, he is easily handing the baton to these guys, and they are doing all the work. But yet Jimmy Garoppolo is standing at the top of the podium like he's a gold medalist. And you know that he doesn't.
My dog, Buck, it's good to be on the same side as you, my dog. Marcellus, what is Matt Ryan without Shanahan? I don't know. I know with Kyle Shanahan, he's an MVP winner. That's what I know. I know he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He was the best quarterback in the NFL statistically. Here's the other thing. It doesn't matter really how we feel about these quarterbacks or how we feel about Jimmy G, because Kyle Shanahan told us how he felt. Remember, Kyle Shanahan pulled Jimmy G for what?
He was hurt.
C.J. Beathard? He pulls Jimmy G. And Nick Mullins he's getting questions because of how Nick Mullins performed. Is Jimmy G going to get his starting spot back? Meanwhile, we saw the Patriots without Cam Newton. Belichick is on hands and knees praying, God, if you would only bring Cam Newton back sooner than later, Lord. Marcellus, Kyle Shanahan told us how to feel. I don't really care how you feel. I don't care how Bucky and me feel. Shanahan already told us he's not even that fond of Jimmy G. Go ahead, powder up, bro. Your head getting a little shiny because you're taking these lashes, feeling the heat.
Oh, Kyle Shanahan, the same dude that got the epic comeback. Who gave him that whop, whop, whop? Bill Belichick? Tom Brady? Yeah. So let me trust Bill Belichick over Kyle Shanahan, even though I like both. Who did Bill Belichick fall in love with? As soon as he saw him, said, damn, I got the GOAT up here in 2014, but I'm going to draft me some Jimmy G and fall in love with him. To the tune of there was some dissension in New England because of the adoration.
We've seen people step out on their spouses before, Marcel.
Hey, man, not on this show.
That's all that happened, okay? Bill Belichick was in love with Tom Brady. We've seen people flirt. We've seen people see somebody else like, oh, Jimmy G look kind of good.
Hey, Anna Marie, he ain't talking about nobody on this show. That's my wife. Okay, here's the thing. I'm trusting Bill Belichick before I trust me some Kyle Shanahan. I'm going to tell you what's really going on here. Bro? This is real. Jimmy G is injury prone. He's only had 1 year as a full-time starter, and then this year he's hurt again. He has only started 28 of the last 46 regular season games. So what happens as an organization is you have to start making muscular moves. I tried to tell you about this, Acho, before, but here we go again. A muscular move may be a deceptive move. A muscular move has multi-tasks. It means one thing is I want to protect you, Jimmy G, from injury. Another thing is, damn, you always hurt. And another thing is, hey, capologist, hey, John Lynch, general manager, guess what? Jimmy G, if we let him go at the end of the year, is only due $27 million next year. But if we cut him, 2.8 in dead cap. And $24 million saved. So just in case, not because Jimmy G's not a baller, just in case we can't get Jimmy G on the field consistently, we have to start to look at ourselves without Jimmy G. That's the only reason why there's a short leash and pulling him is because they're making that muscular move in terms of economics.